I guess the idea is not anything new, but it's all in the quality and execution.
The main thing is control. And this is like control over your AI output of like what you want and making sure the AI follows it. In this episode of Denoised, tips and tricks for using Runway for better AI image creation.
The newest studios are being built by the creator economy.
And continuous thought machines, a new type of neuron network. Let's get into it. All right, what's up, Addy? How you doing?
Hey, good. Welcome back.
Yeah, you survived the LA heat wave.
I quite enjoyed it, other than the fact that the air conditioner was not able to keep up. But hey, we'll
pushing
take
it to the limit. Maybe it's a warning sign for summer coming. Like it's a little test, and you got to check it out now.
I'll just say
prepare for summer.
During the summer, don't train AI models on your GPU. It'll add to the overheat of the home.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of AI and training, well, not even training. Okay, this one kind of been collecting interesting things I've been seeing on X about more specifically Runway and their new references feature, which kind of gives you a lot more control over AI outputs and image outputs, which we've talked about before, but I've been seeing some interesting tricks and tips and hacks, and they did improve the model for this. So the first one is a kind of a series that's been coming out from Cristobal, the CEO of Runway.
Oh, we know Cristobal here.
Cristobal recurring. We need to have like a Cristobal theme song or something.
Or a counter every time we say Cristobal. We put a penny in the jar.
So the stuff he's been posting is basically doing very crude, basic sketches, not even sketches. I mean, you could just go to like Microsoft Paint and draw some boxes of like how you want your image laid out and add some labels and then give that as a reference image to Runway and then give some like characters or a scene and then have it create the image and mostly honor the layout that you wanted in the reference image that you gave it.
Yeah. I guess the idea is not anything new, but it's all in the quality and execution.
The main thing is control. And this is like control over your AI output of like what you want and making sure the AI follows it. The only two that I've really seen that can kind of do this well is a Runway, obviously one, and then ChatGPT, the image generation in the chat interface has been excellent at, you can give it reference images like this as well, and it'll give the output. And then it has the chat interface works well with that because you can, if it does something incorrect, you could be like, no, like I've literally told it like tilt the camera down.
Yeah.
And then it does a new image and it'll like readjust the angle. And that's been the most conversational back and forth control that I've seen out of any of the models. The issue with ChatGPT is the image quality still a little bit too kind of that has that AI synthetic vibe. Runway probably has the best photographic image quality output. I've just personally had some hit or misses with trying this technique.
Okay. To walk me through your workflow and how you went about it.
So I wanted to try to push this sort of the limit and also bring in something that we've talked about a lot of like camera control and like being able to actually like use a camera and frame my angle. And then can I use that as the input? So I used some building blocks, like literal, I had...
Are we going to show the audience
we'll show these images on the video.
My first question is, why not use Legos or something else, or humans?
The practical answer is we did a lot of product photography over the years. And for a lot of children's products. So I just have a lot of random children's props like wood building blocks and wooden cubes. So I just used what I had. But yeah, Legos would probably make the most sense. The one challenge with Legos though is scale and just focus. And I mean, I was using my phone and even with the building blocks, it's kind of hard to like get in there and get the focus because you're basically doing macro photography. So I took a shot of building blocks and I kind of blocked it. I blocked the blocks. So it was like an over the shoulder shot and I used wooden blocks with letters as the character head. And I was thinking like, okay, maybe I could actually tell it like the block D is this person and block J is this person. So then I gave it this photograph I took as the reference image of how I want the shot composed. And then I gave it two images of two different people that I wanted to replace as the characters. And so with Runway, I gave it all these images. You can do 3 images with Runway. I gave it the images and it really didn't adhere to what I was doing.
Yeah, I could see that here.
Yeah,
I mean, not even close.
No, and this is the shot you're looking at is like one output, but I'd given some other ones where I think it tried to put the building blocks on the table and it didn't really stick with it. So I'll have to do some more experimenting there. Also, every time you see someone post something of like, oh, look, AI did this like on X or whatever, you have to keep in mind, a lot of the AI stuff is cherry picking. So, Chris Paul posts a lot of stuff. is that the first attempt? Was that like the 10th attempt?
Are you saying Cristobal exaggerates a bit?
I'm not saying exaggerate, I'm just saying, I don't, was that like a one-shot output, one done that he was posting, or was that like, attempt 10?
Yeah, this is also nothing new for tech companies, right? They're going to present the best possible output in front of you to entice you to use it.
I mean, that's fine too, and just know it. But I mean, also like every time you generate, that's the credits, and like Runway is not cheap. So if budgeting wise, you're like, I need to get this good shot, you might have to budget out where it's like, well, you might got to spin this thing 10 times to get the shot we're looking for.
And they're charging you every one of those. Yep.
Now, I did the same thing with ChatGPT.
Now,
and
if the first image you generated, oh my God.
So the first image, it put the two people facing each other, but then it put the building blocks in between them. I mean,
I gotta say, the building blocks came in pretty solid.
It's not a bad image for kind of hearing everything. It just didn't understand what I was asking.
Right.
But then the advantage with ChatGPT is it's a chat interface, so then I can have a conversation with it. And so then I said, no, you misunderstood. The image with the blocks is a blocking reference image to compose the final frame, so there should not be any actual blocks in the final frame.
Yeah.
And then it created the image, and then I said, put the people in a park just to give it an environment.
Yeah.
And then it created the image, but it created the reverse angle of what I was looking for. So my instructions, I was saying we should be looking at a woman character over the shoulder of a male character. Yeah. And then it gave me an over the shoulder on the male character.
Yeah.
Like literally sticking to the 180 degree rule, like literally it is the reverse angle of what the scene is. But then I said, no, flip it. And it flipped it and it showed me the woman. Yeah. And pretty much the shot as I kind of blocked it out with the building blocks.
The superpower here is combining a really solid image generation model with a really solid LLM and understanding your natural language and having the iterative power to go through it.
And being able to use, the tactile, like, let me get my camera and frame it up, and having that as the foundation.
So does this mean that perhaps there is a world if Runway integrates a really solid LLM and a chat interface? Like, could there be room for improvement on the iterations?
I mean, I feel like that was sort of what we got teased with Cristobal's video, of which I keep blanking out on the name.
Yeah, the
audio... When he was talking to the thing in real time, and it was like making changes.
Just coming in,
And so, like that could be the LLM underneath the hood.
For sure.
Making his changes in real time. But I would say, yes, it seems like that's also the direction.
Yeah, and just
it seems like that's the direction that Runway is going to.
For sure. Just a quick nod to the sort of usefulness of what you generated. If you look at your reference blocks versus this, 180 shot, I mean, the character distance is too close, like scale is not really adhered to. Obviously, we talked about the AI look versus having a more photorealistic look. Like, is it almost there for final use? Not even close, but certainly for, conceptualizing things, storyboarding. This is more than usable.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is what I use this in an actual project. No, but would I use this to convey to the DP that type of shot I'm trying to get?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and a DP will take this over like, a hand sketch.
Yeah, my crappy, because I stick figure thing is like, yes, it's this. Yeah, no, this is, again, another tool in the tool shed. Yeah, interesting that, I do want to call out a couple other examples that Cristobal did post, because it's not just sketching the frame you want. Some other interesting cases have been sketching an overhead layout.
Like a top-down view.
Yeah, of this should be the geography of everything. And then telling it, I want, like a wide shot of this.
Yeah.
But it understands the overhead geography that you gave it.
That's so crazy, because it's almost like there is spatial awareness and 3D world building.
And that's what they've been trying to train in the being able to understand the 3D world.
Right.
I feel like there's another one I saw too, because someone reposted this one. It was an interesting, I guess, sort of hack too, because you're limited to only uploading 3 images in Runway. But someone uploaded an image where they had the overhead layout of how people should be placed. And then they uploaded an image that had 4 people in the single image.
Right.
So they kind of cheated, but it understood all 4 people. They were of celebrities, so there's obviously a lot of more training data on them. But it understood, all 4 people in the image, and then created a pretty accurate layout of the image based on an overhead view and a character sheet of 4 different people.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so very cool.
Right? Like this stuff is just coming at us so fast. Like we're having a hard time just pausing and appreciating
Yeah,
how good it's getting.
Yeah, what I'm going to be curious about, because this upcoming weekend is going to be the Cinema Synthetica AI competition, which we documented last year. It is like a pre-event that the films will get played at the AI on the Lot event, which is happening in a few weeks. And I'm just thinking, because like last year, it was really interesting to see, and that was sort of like my first deep dive into a lot of seeing AI creators work. And in just a year, I'm like really curious to see how this is going to change and the quality of the output,
for sure.
Because just like
and you just want to go back last year, look at a film, go back this year, look at a film, you're like, oh my god, there's a big delta.
Yeah, I would love to. I don't think they're going to do it, but I'd love to see too if they revisited even a couple shots from the ones last year and just ran them or redid them with some of the tools today, like how much better it would be, or how much different it would look.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd be curious about that. Okay, and then a couple other things that were just not tied into the references thing, but I think other interesting tips and hacks that I've been seeing people post about, specifically to Runway. Mm-hmm. One person realized or figured out that you can, in your prompt, kind of just say to bisect and subdivide your video into 4 quarters. So you're making a video generation, but the video output is 4 quadrants. So you're kind of getting 4 outputs in one. But the advantage of that is because it's the same generation, it's much more consistent characters and physical space. It's sort of what, when we talked about a while ago with that hackathon that Dylan did, where he would generate a bunch of stuff in the same generation so that it's the same awareness of like the 3D space, AI space that's happening. Yeah. But you can kind of do that in Runway.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the seed of the noise. Like the noise itself is unique every time. So having that same seed, proliferate through each of the 4 generations will at least get you in the same ballpark.
Yeah. I haven't messed with that either too. Like, because seed is a big thing too. And like, if you just find some stuff that works and then lock off your seed and give it the same reference images or in Runway references, there's another another dial called CFG, or classifier free guidance, which is basically a dial to tell the AI system how much it wants to like free will hallucinate versus how much it needs to adhere to your prompt. So like creativity or so that's just the CFG dial. So I don't think Runway gives you that option.
Maybe it's just repackaged in another.
Maybe if you're using it through their API, you can. But on their web interface, it's I think just the seed.
Sure. Oh, so it does have a awareness of a seed ID.
Yeah, in the web interface, you can override the seed and lock it off.
Right. Theoretically speaking, if you give it the exact same seed, exact same CFG, and I think 3 or 4 other variables, you should be able to get the same result.
The exact same result.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, like I'm not an AI expert, so not sure if that's true or not.
Yeah, but there's an advantage sometimes to locking the seed off to try to get some more consistency with the outputs if you're trying to do consistent characters or spaces.
Yeah, this could certainly be useful. I mean, at least, if you're trying to just generate a ton of stuff and you need it to all conform to this world that you're trying to build, like certainly this will cut down your time by 4x.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, your video outputs will be very small because it's going to be the video, which is already like a 720-ish HD
split by 4
into 4. You're going to be having a standard def outputs. But yeah, I mean, I think it more for visualization or ideation if you're looking to get some.
Well, push it through an upscaler, push it through whatever you need at the post process. Another interesting use case that this weekend I was ideating with a friend on. He's a pretty legit like brand photographer. So he does like corporate videos and things like that. And he was asking me, hey, one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is with AI, can I replace a traditional time-lapse workflow? Because like, as you know, you do a lot of photography. Time-lapse setup is just a completely different beast than like your video setup.
I went down the time-lapse rabbit hole a number of years ago. I mean, especially if you're doing sunrise, sunset, you have to deal with exposure.
Yeah, and you have to leave that thing there, make sure it's not touched, and battery life, all this stuff, right? Like it's complicated to get a good time-lapse result. He's like, what if I feed it like a few images, throughout time, and have the AI generate the time-lapse for me?
So like bright scene, dark scene, same location, locked off shot, and be like
golden hour,
right? And like
and then just have the thing do a time-lapse.
Like you make the time-lapse for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'd be an interesting experiment, and maybe one of our viewers can figure it out for us.
Now this got me thinking too. Maybe I'll try this. Yeah, my building has a good balcony, and maybe I'll try to do some
Right.
shots. All right, now I'm thinking, I'm trying to test this out. All right,
cool.
So had he done this yet, or
No,
thinking
he's
about
just very new to the world of AI. So naturally asking
I'll try,
me
yeah, because also this would be a good example, a good case too for the first, middle, last. Currently, first, middle, last is still only in Gen 3 with Runway. They haven't rolled it out to Gen 4, the newest model. So, all right, I'm going to give this a shot.
Okay,
right?
Let me know how it goes.
Try this out. All right, cool. Yeah, so these are just kind of good grab bag of tips and stuff. But yeah, if anyone has any, have you found anything, let us know in the comments that have worked well for you. And I'm going to keep experimenting with my building block blocking attempts.
Add more things. Add like 3 or 4 people. I mean,
yeah, I'll try that. I took some shots with some toy cars too, which I haven't tested yet, but I was going to see if I can make some like Fast and Furious kind of shots.
I mean, I did this experiment just like a couple of months ago where I built an entire city in Unreal with just like cubes and planes and no shaders. And then I fed that into a Comfy UI workflow.
Okay.
And I was getting really solid results.
Just images or video to video?
Images.
Okay. Yeah. I remember seeing...
I was using something called ControlNet. So within ControlNet, you can have different types of control. And I believe the one that was giving me the best result was a depth map. Like it was turning the Unreal render into a depth map, and which was guiding the inference. Okay.
Yeah, I remember a while ago I seen a video from Billawall who did like a kitbashing in Blender or Unreal of just like a bunch of like kind of city scene stuff and built the city, and then did some camera moves and then ran that through video to video with Runway, and then make it like a cyberpunk scene. But the advantage is you get all your shapes, you get the camera movement.
Yeah.
You just are,
and you're getting the rendering, like the photoreal rendering. That's the hardest part out of any 3D engine.
Yeah.
Is good luck building all of the individual shaders, lighting it like a lighting artist, and then having the CPU, GPU to render all of that.
Mm-hmm. Next story is a Hollywood Reporter story that was going around about the rise of new studios, but being built by creators, YouTube creators, the creator economy, which we have talked about.
We've
many times
covered creator economy here quite a few times, and we're going to continue to track it because Hollywood is evolving to sort of incorporate the creator economy into the fold.
Treated as like a separate thing, but it's like more and more this is just going to overlap and blend in.
Like the big creators, like their agents are, from William Morris or UTA or CA. Like these are like
also,
legit.
I mean, the audiences for some of these channels, the like brand awareness is more than network TV in some cases, like network TV stations. Yeah. So this story, one of the examples was Darman, which I have heard of him. I don't watch his stuff.
We're not in his demographic. So Darman's got 25 million subscribers. No small feat.
Right. Which is also crazy because I don't think you had even heard of him before he started rolling, right?
I have heard of him. I just never saw his content before.
Yeah. It's like very optimistic. Feel good kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say it's a cross between like UGC and Nickelodeon and
Nickelodeon's a good example because that's what I mean. The article is about like these are like in the realm of development of where new studios being built, and these YouTube creators are like building full-on sets and sound stages and backlots and stuff for their videos. It's like the idea or the curiosity of like, are they going to be the new like Hollywood creators, or is Hollywood going to adapt to YouTube? It was mentioned a few times in the article where it's like more their analogy is like, this is the new Nickelodeon or this is the new Disney Channel from like the 90s. Like it's like that type of content and replacing that realm. Like I don't think this is going to be the next Mission Impossible out of YouTube creators. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in 5-10 years.
Nah.
But
I don't see it.
Yeah, no, but I don't see it being like that type of like tentpole film release thing, or if they would even want that. But I do see it being the replacement of kind of like mid-level
linear network content.
Daytime TV.
Yes. Yeah, I totally see that.
In some cases, kids TV. In some cases, maybe more like Discovery Channel or TLC back when it was like educational.
For sure.
Like that quality, that budget. I mean, they even said like their budgets here are more than Nickelodeon shows were.
Like a lot of the true TV stuff, like what are those Impractical Jokers? That kind of content that kind of felt UGC at the time before UGC. I could totally imagine, somebody like Darman or one of these big creators having an umbrella to do that with.
Yeah, the other thing is, I mean, one of the big famous examples is MrBeast has this big studio operation in Greenville. It built out pretty much a
massive
entire backlot in Greenville, North Carolina.
Yep. There's several big studios, studio infrastructure in Louisiana. My guess is because of the tax incentives.
For creators or just like studios?
Both.
So yeah, one of the other creators focused on in the article is Alan Chow, who is doing a show, Alan's Universe. I'm also, if you're familiar with him, I'm probably butchering a lot of, like, I have not heard of him at all, but he's building a studio, and sort of analogy for himself was like similar to Nickelodeon type shows. It
just goes to show how massive the creator economy actually is, that we, although you and I consume so much YouTube, we still don't know all the big players.
I mean, and it's so massive. And I remember actually this was interesting point, because do you remember there used to be the YouTube Rewind?
Yeah,
it was like a video YouTube would do every year, and it would like kind of include like all the all the big creators, and it was like a big, just kind of cool video. But then they stopped doing it, and I think it was like MKBHD or someone pointed out where it's just like part of the reason was like YouTube got so big and is also so sort of personalized to like so many different interests, that when it was smaller, it was like yes, there were like central focus, like main big characters, but now it's just so massive where it's like you can have someone with millions of followers and like never heard of them. Yeah. It's just like, what's not your like lane, not your interest.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, it's just like so dialed into different niches and like a huge universe, basically. That
I think everybody sort of knows the big creators from like OG YouTube, like, MKBHD, iJustine, PewDiePie, Casey Neistat, like all those like big names that were huge when YouTube first launched, and they're still around. But
now
all it takes is like a good few years to grind and hustle, and you've got it. You've got an audience, right?
I think that ties into another kind of like question too, because like I think a lot of channels did blow up too because YouTube added shorts, and they were pushing shorts hard in like 2020, 2021. Right. And so like a lot of channels, like, a short goes up and like they got like 1 million followers. And it's like, oh, that would take years before. And now like a couple shorts can blow it up. But is there like, there's no character recognition. There's no brand. Like it goes into the bigger branding question. And so it's like, is it purely the numbers? Well, I mean, the numbers are like, important, but it seems easier. I mean, it's not that easy, but easier to like, if you play the game right, or like tap into the right type of interest. I mean, there's a whole separate world of just like faceless YouTube creators where they're making these like documentary style videos or like body cam footage. Yeah. But it's like, there's no branding. There's no character.
You don't have, it's optional,
longevity,
right? Like you could still make ginormous revenue and have a
I mean, they make the videos and they just get the ad revenue, and it can be a profitable business.
But if you want to conform to traditional Hollywood branding and things like, I think Dude Perfect is like a perfect example, no pun intended.
And also ties back in this article. They built a huge $100 million studio in Dallas,
and I think they have some sort of deal with like a major streamer, I believe.
Possibly, or some show in development. I mean, like a lot of these creators do have deals and shows. We're talking about it.
So that, if you want to go the quote unquote traditional route of turning your channel and your brand and your audience into Hollywood, there's certainly a way to do that. MrBeast has showed us that, right?
Or conforming Hollywood to you. Because like, it's like, I don't really think the turn your brand and go into Hollywood is really the goal anyways. It's like, MrBeast got a deal to fund his show on Amazon and reach a new audience, but he probably would have been fine without it. And he also, kind of conformed them to like fit his style. Where it's like, okay, you give me a bunch of money. I do the show, and we level up what we were doing before, but it's still like,
he's like, this is where I'm at $100 million. If you're not there, let's not even talk.
And so, it's not like, oh, let me adapt this to fit, like, to make it a Double Dare kind of like Nickelodeon show. It's like, no, it's like, it's going to fit my style, like with this money. Like, that's the only reason it would make sense. Because like, I could do this without you. Like, we've been doing it without you. Going back to Do Perfect. They built the studio. And then also that said there were talks to eventually add a virtual production set into their studio.
I think there was talks to have MrBeast at a VP stage in the North Carolina facility. This was a couple years back. I don't think it happened, or maybe it did and he took it apart. Who knows?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what
the thing that I find so interesting with YouTube content creators, like people like Darman or MrBeast, is that they've figured out how to make content as efficiently and with as little of a tech lift as possible. So for them to add the ginormous tech lift that is virtual production is probably unlikely. Like they'll just figure out how to make the thing that they want to make.
Or until it gets easier where you can, I mean, it depends what you're trying to use it for, but it's like, yeah, I mean, I think it would make sense. It's sort of like Mr. Who's the Boss.
Mr. Who's the Boss is a
view
perfect
system. And it's like, he's not doing it for elaborate sets. He's doing it because he just wants to like have cool changing backgrounds for his talking head videos for sure and stuff.
But like somebody who's so tech forward and just is an expert in this domain in M&E, like MKBHD. He went to the Zero Space facility in New York. I remember that was a big deal. Years back. But he still doesn't have a VP stage in his own studio, right?
Yeah.
Like he totally gets it, you know?
I mean, yeah, just maybe it doesn't fit with the style and what they're doing. I mean, a lot with him and with MrBeast, it's like different visuals, different setups every time.
Speaking of which, I think on the creator economy, I'm still not seeing a big convergence with generative AI and the creator economy yet. Like a lot of these big YouTubers are still not quite exploiting all of the goods that we have today. You know, you don't see insert shots that are generated with AI, really.
No, and I think they probably have the same quality level, you know, with traditional M&E and Hollywood studios, where it's like I'm guessing it's just, you know, either the quality's not there yet, or they're using it, but it's like, you know, like we talked about, like to help with processes or like some under the hood thing, but not
actual final pixel.
Right, not at the point yet where it can do final pixel. I know the one thing they've been having issues with is other people ripping their face and likeness and creating UGC style ads of them hyping up products that they have never heard of or endorsed or anything. So like that, I think that's been the bigger issue for them of just fake testimonials and stuff. Because obviously there is a lot of training data available of them specifically. So it's pretty easy for people to rip their stuff and turn them into a AI chatbot. Voice bot.
And what's the creator you talk about here and there? She goes and does something for 30 days.
Michelle Khare.
Yeah. Like with her as an example, like these creators have figured out the thing that they make, and they make it so well that they really don't need to deviate and try traditional content per se. Like they've perfected this formula.
Right. And she's the example I've mentioned before, where it's like she's had the talks with like traditional TV studios, like let's adapt your thing to a network show. And then it was like a lesser product than what she's already doing on YouTube for more headache. And it was like, we don't need to do this. And this also ties into the creator upfronts, which I think did happen. And same idea, like creators big enough where they have a content schedule for the year and they know what they're going to produce and they can sell to advertisers. And advertisers are getting more and more interested in this type of content. Also, another flip side of this article too was like people at his company were from Disney and Lionsgate. His CEO was previously president of MTV.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And from Alan Chow, who I mentioned before too, his casting director was from Nickelodeon. So just a lot of overlap or movement from people, executives, people that work behind the scenes at traditional M&E moving over to these creator companies.
Yeah, I find that fascinating because MrBeast said the complete opposite. He said that people from traditional studios just don't conform to the type of organization that he wants to run. So he said something to the effect of like...
I'd be curious of what the timeline was too when he made that comment, because I feel like also it's like once these companies reach a certain...
maturity level.
Where it's like you need
mature execs.
The adult in the room.
The adults in the room.
Yeah. I mean, because I'd be curious too with MrBeast, because it's like, I'm sure, I don't know who runs Feastables, but I'm sure it's someone who like...
is from the food and beverage world.
Has the knowledge and the expertise. And also in his doctrine that was leaked, or his... he
has a doctrine?
It's his onboarding doc that he wrote a few years ago.
Okay.
It's really good. But one of his big things was like hire consultants. It was like, he was like, don't waste time trying to figure stuff out. Just like hire the person who already knows it. And just like, take advantage of them.
That's so efficient.
And I feel like unusual to hear, because it's like, oh, well, I'll just figure it out myself, or I could just do this too.
Why need to waste money?
What do I need to waste money for? Like hire someone else, so I could do it myself. And so he was a big hire consultants fan. All right, so we'll obviously keep an eye on the space, continue to keep an eye on the space, but always interesting to see the merging of new creator economy versus traditional M&E.
It's an exciting space for sure. And in a lot of ways, the creator economy is picking up a lot of the slack that we have in Hollywood at the moment. Like there's a lot of action on that side of the fence, people getting hired, productions being made for a completely different use case.
And then you have vertical videos right in the middle. Vertical soap operas.
Exactly. It's going to tie us all.
All right. And third story.
So we have a small AI company in Japan called Sakana.
Okay.
And Sakana is not well known. They're not associated with like the big Japanese brands like, Canon or Sony or whoever. And obviously with a lot of Japanese companies, that stuff doesn't really make it across the pond here. I came across this and I thought this was fascinating. They do a lot of thought leadership in this AI space, and some of the stuff is really, theoretical rather than an actual product that you can use like Runway. And one of the things that they concepted on is the idea of continuous thought machines. So this is just, I guess, a really nice fancy name to attach to a neural network that has incorporated explicit timing. So in the world of computers and GPUs, we have a clock, right? There is, like Intel used to advertise, it's 60 gigabyte per second or whatever. So within 1 second, this many computations happen, and there's a clock internally that makes it. Right. So in the world of neural networking, it feels very much asynchronous. So you have a bunch of layers of neural networks, your prompting and your input goes in on one end, and then it goes through these layers as it progresses, depending on how complex it is. And on the output, you get your output, right? So you put your references in on one end, your prompt in on one end, boom, 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 layer, and then an output. But that's not how our brain works. Our brain works by generating different sub-dependent thoughts at the same time. And then because they're generated at the same time, they then work together to form a bigger thought.
Okay, like combining the elements to be
so like if you're driving, a portion of your brain is processing the road and what's around it. Another portion is probably thinking about where to go, the direction, the map, the GPS. And third portion's probably, thinking about safety and like keeping it on the speed limit. And all those three things together combine to the driving decision you're making at however many fractions of a second, So CTM, continuous thought machines, really is a neural network architecture that makes sure that notion of timing is incorporated into a neural network. So it's not asynchronous. There is a synchronicity after all. I'm not 100% sure on how this will improve AI thought process and AI inference. But
so, is it sort of like if you, like hypothetically, if you're running a large language model or something, that it can like kind of think more about?
It can have, my guess is it can have several different thought processes happen at the same time and then combine it into a super thought process that is far more powerful than those.
And is this different than like how the reasoning models work? Because part of the reasoning models was like they're supposed to sort of think or like do the output, but then like go back and kind of question it. But is that still kind of a linear process?
I think that is just going backwards in the neural network, where typically you have a sequential forward process, and reasoning processes also have a backward, like a feedback loop. I think this is more, think of it as like parallel things happening in parallel.
Like how the neurons in our brain go and triggering different things all over the place to kind of
For sure. So think. We're going to link you to this article here. Go ahead and read through it. This is a little bit, theoretical and a little too technical for me. But I just, look, the reason I bring it up, this is why. We're at the very early days of neural network architecture, and something like this can potentially change the way the future models are built completely.
Yeah. We had DeepSeek not come out of nowhere, but kind of just pop on the grid and be like, hey, look, we figured out this other way to do this stuff, like in a totally different way.
Yeah, if you go back to the early days of compute, like in the 80s and 90s, Intel was making CPUs, and we thought this was the way computers were going to be made, right? And CPUs are really good at doing a very large computation at the same time, but they could do maybe 10,000 of them at once or 100,000 of them at once.
It's got to go in.
Yeah, it's sequential, but there's still a notion of parallel pipelining. And the way they do it is they actually just add one CPU on top of another. So it's a bunch of CPUs running together. NVIDIA comes out in the 90s. Jensen, much younger than he is today, completely changes the game with GPUs. And GPU computation and the math and the underlying silicon is completely different. Fast forward to the world of today, what is actually benefiting us the most. It's GPU architecture, right? Like all of the modern CG runs on it, computer graphics, AI, everything is running on GPUs. GPUs are really good at taking smaller computations, but having millions and billions of them happen at the same time. So I just go back to something like this, where this introduces a completely new way to make the thing that powers AI. So maybe this is something that we'll look back into say, yeah, that's when the path kind of diverged.
Yeah. And you heard it here on Denoised. Your car comment reminded me this morning, I saw someone getting into a road rage honking battle with a Waymo.
Oh, ouch. That is a battle you cannot win.
I just kept hearing like honking, 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 and then I see the car and then it pulls up next to the Waymo. But then I don't know if they didn't know what a Waymo was, but then I think I saw them look inside and then realize that there's no driver, and then they stopped.
This person must have had no idea that was a Waymo to begin with, because we could see the Waymo car from a mile away with the LiDAR and the sensors.
They're very conspicuous. Like, you could tell what it is. But yeah, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be the future, just arguing with an AI robot that like is unaware. Yeah.
Dude, you just got a physical glimpse into the future. That's so awesome.
Yep. All right. Good place to wrap it up.
Yep.
Links for everything we talked about, as usual, at denoisedpodcast.com.
And give us a comment on our YouTube videos. We'd love to see you engage there. So thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode.